Anna.
I'm Nick.
And it is Tuesday. That means it's Tuesday with RCIA, Team RCIA, and all things RCIA. And it is also like the week and a half before Lent.
Yeah, Lent is here already.
Which means...
It feels like we've been in Lent since last Lent.
Some of us have. But around this time of year, every year...
Ton of questions.
Always. And it's like last minute questions.
Panicked.
Oh my gosh. So we're here. We've gotten a whole bunch of questions just this last week, but we're going to highlight 3 that I think are sort of common questions and also fundamental questions to understand, because it helps us understand better what the entire catechumenate process is about.
So first question is, we don't have any catechumens this year. That's kind of common, but we do have some baptized candidates. Because we don't have any catechumens, we're not going to be celebrating the scrutinies.
That's good.
Because we celebrate scrutinies only with unbaptized catechumens or the elect. But then what do we do in Lent to celebrate anything with the baptized candidates? Do we have any rites that we can celebrate with them?
And you actually wrote an article
I did.
About
this.
There's
a post, a brand new post on teamrcia.com. If you go to teamrcia.com/blog, you'll find it there. It's the top one if you're going this week. If you go next week, it'll be the second one, and so on.
Yeah. And I put a link in the comments, so
yeah.
Go find it there.
But the short answer is, whatever you're celebrating with your parish community is what you celebrate with the baptized candidates, because they're members of the baptismal priesthood. So we're going to celebrate all the stuff that we celebrate, that we do in Lent for the rest of the community.
Yeah, and you say in your post that it really clarifies things if we think of our baptized candidates less like catechumens and more like a member of the baptized priesthood.
Right.
Like us.
The switch we have to make here in thinking about this is with some of our baptized candidates, catechetically, they may start out like catechumens. They may not know very much. They may need to travel with the catechumens for a significant amount of time for their catechesis. But ritually and liturgically, they're much, much more like the baptized Catholics than they are the catechumens, because they're basically initiated already because they're already baptized.
Yes. Baptism matters.
Yes.
In fact, it changes a person's status, and so we have to honor that. And so we can think of the rituals of Lent that would be appropriate for our baptized candidates would be kind of the same rituals that we would celebrate, the baptized faithful. And so think of the things that we do normally during Lent. Obviously, Sunday Mass.
Yeah, Sunday Mass is first and foremost the most important. If you're only going to celebrate one ritual with the baptized candidates during Lent, it's got to be Sunday Mass. They need to be at all the masses of the Sunday of the Lenten season. The Sunday Mass is the Lenten season as immediate preparation for the celebration of their sacraments.
Now, in quarantine time, Sunday Mass is a little different. So whether or not it's Sunday Mass, it's whatever your parish is doing to honor the Lord's Day. And so if that's a live stream, then that's what we would do. But it's also what we would do in our own homes. And so you can encourage your baptized candidates to keep Sunday holy by making it a day of prayer, doing something different than they would normally do any other day of the week.
Another key thing that many of the baptized candidates will want to celebrate is the rite of penance. And again, this is a little different in COVID time, but in normal Lents, most of our parishes have a parish-wide reconciliation service. And if your parish is able to do that this Lent, then, of course, the baptized candidates should be invited to celebrate that. If you're not having a parish-wide reconciliation service, then if the baptized candidates feel the need and desire to celebrate this sacrament, then arrange for a small celebration with the pastor.
Now, some of you might be saying, "Oh, but there's second Sunday of Lent. There's the what is it called? The penitential rite
for the
baptized. Yes, so we're referring to the optional rite that is found in the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults in Part 2 for the baptized. It is called a penitential rite that would normally be celebrated on the second Sunday of Lent. And so a couple of things. First, it's optional. Second, we don't ever celebrate that because it is a weak, I'll just say it, it's a weak comparison to what we would do in a parish-wide reconciliation service, a penitential liturgy.
And it's not the sacrament of reconciliation. So I don't understand why it's there. Let's just take the baptized candidates to the parish-wide celebration of the sacrament of reconciliation.
So there's that. And then you want to say the third one there?
Yes. If your baptized candidates come from a tradition in which they have not prayed the creed and not prayed the Lord's Prayer, then you can celebrate the presentation of the Creed and Lord's Prayer with them. Now, if they come from like Lutheran or Methodist or, one of the mainline sort of liturgical Protestant traditions, they've already prayed the Creed and the Lord's Prayer in their lives as Christians before they got hooked up with us. And so it wouldn't be really appropriate to present it to them as though they've never received it before. Yeah. But there are Christian traditions where that doesn't happen, or there are people who are baptized as infants and that are never raised in their Lutheran or Methodist tradition. And so for those folks, you could present the Creed and the Lord's Prayer to them.
So it's optional.
Yes.
And you want to discern whether or not it is a good option for the baptized person that you're celebrating with.
Yes, but at least for the Lord's Prayer, you won't be able to do it at a Sunday Mass because...
Neither.
You can't do the Creed either?
No, the Creed, both of them are in their own...
Right, but couldn't the Creed be adapted for Sunday Mass?
No.
Okay.
Because there are specific readings.
Specific Gospels.
Yes, specific Gospels for those two presentations.
Yes, so you have to do them at a weekday celebration.
Mm-hmm. Or a Mass.
Or Liturgy of the Word,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or, yes, Liturgy of the Word.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Okay, so go check out that blog post for other ideas on what you can do with your baptized candidates. Let's see. And then we have a couple of other questions, but check out the blog post. And the primary thing is treat your baptized candidates more like the faithful rather than pseudo-catechumens, because they're not, right? Okay, let's see. Where is our list of questions? We got 2 more questions we want to highlight. This year, because of the pandemic, a lot of dioceses have given their parishes permission to celebrate the rite of election in their own parish. It's always been an option, but normatively the rite of election is celebrated by the local bishop in the cathedral, and it's a diocesan celebration. So this year, many dioceses are asking and inviting and giving permission to their parishes to celebrate the rite of election in their own parish with their pastor. So the question is, which we've gotten, many parishes often celebrate the rite of sending. So now they're wondering, do we celebrate the rite of sending? And what is that like if we're going to celebrate the rite of election in our own parish?
Yes, so you want to think about this. The rite of sending is about sending the elect to the cathedral, to the bishop, for the rite of election. If you're not actually sending them to the bishop, there's no reason to celebrate the rite of sending. You're not sending them to next week's Mass in the parish. So again, you just have to think through that. Yeah. That there's no sending going on, and so you wouldn't celebrate the rite of sending. Yes. The rite of sending is, in a sense, really more for the parish. It's not even in the Australian version or the Canadian version of the RCIA. It doesn't include a rite of sending. It's only in the U.S. version, and it's really about helping parishioners participate in some elements of the rite of election. And so oftentimes, for example, we'll have the signing of the Book of the Elect at the rite of sending. Not all dioceses do that, but our diocese does, for example, when we have a rite of sending. and that's really to help the parish sort of, because the whole parish can't come to the cathedral with their elect. But if you're going to be celebrating the rite of election in the parish itself, there's no reason to sort of split up those symbols and have them at two different times and so on.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of this is just looking at the actual ritual text, and you'll find the answers in there. So, again, just our own public service announcement. The Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults is an actual ritual text, and many of these questions are answered by just simply reading. And so if you go to, in the United States edition, paragraph 106, this is about the optional rite of sending the catechumens for election. Paragraph 106, it ends by saying, when election will take place in the parish, this rite is not used. Clear cut. So, because, again, as Nick said, the purpose of the rite of sending is to involve the parish in some of the elements of what will become the rite of election. And if the rite of election is taking place in your parish, then your parish is already involved in that. And so go back to your ritual text to take a look at that. And I know many parishes, many even cathedrals do that, where they're celebrating the rite of sending in the cathedral.
Yeah.
The morning of the rite of election that's taking place in the cathedral. And I get it, but there are other ways to involve the parish without mixing these rituals. Okay. Last question.
You want to read it?
Okay. We've gotten, just me, in the last 2-3 days, I've gotten frantic texts from colleagues with this kind of question and lament. We have people who want to be baptized this Easter. Can we celebrate the rite of acceptance this Sunday with them? And then the rite of election the following Sunday, so they can be initiated this Easter vigil? Or can we just skip the rite of acceptance?
Okay, again, we have to sort of think through this. What is the rite of acceptance for? The full title is the Rite of Acceptance into the Order of Catechumens. And so the reason that we accept seekers into the Order of Catechumens is so that they can be trained in Christian life, in the disciplines of living as a Christian. So there's no there if we celebrate the rite of acceptance a week before the rite of election. There's no training period. It's like if spring training for baseball was an hour long. There's no time for training. So the rite of acceptance, the U.S. bishops say, has to be celebrated at least 1 year before the initiation of the seekers, so that they have a full liturgical year's worth of training in the disciplines of Christian life.
Yeah. So again, the rituals do something. They perform an actual act and change the status of a person. And so the rite of election changes the mission of this person. And so to celebrate it the week before they're going to be elected is sort of kind of backwards. And sometimes that will happen if there is a really extraordinary case. For example, I don't know, a person who has been participating in formation in your parish for years and years and years and years, and has been living a Christian life and the disciplines of Christian life, and then because of health reasons or something, not dying, but there's real something dramatic in their life that's happening that will prevent them from celebrating the rites at their properly spaced kinds of times. A bishop might say, okay, let's go ahead and celebrate the rite of acceptance for this person this Sunday, and then elect them the following Sunday, and then baptize them this Easter vigil. But that really is extraordinary, and shouldn't be something we're thinking about at the last moment.
Yeah, but the rite of acceptance is required And so if you're going to be baptizing someone this Easter who's not yet celebrated the rite of acceptance, you do have to celebrate it with them. But then you have to promise to not do that again next year.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to. And also, if you want to be real strict about it, technically speaking, only the bishop can give you permission to kind of abbreviate the catechumenate. So your bishop probably doesn't want to be bothered with permission for this coming Sunday to celebrate a rite of acceptance, but you just should know that it's a big enough deal that normally you're not just going to be celebrating this 1 week before the rite of election. That's not a thing. So if you haven't done it yet, you must do it before they're baptized, before the rite of election. You can, again, with permission of the bishop, you can delay the rite of election for a few days or a week or so if you need to cram all this in. But
you can even delay baptism.
Yeah, that's another option. You can delay the baptism until sometime later if that makes things easier. But the big thing to keep in mind is, what this rite is for. And to really, get your process into an order, into an organizational place where you can be celebrating the rite of acceptance a good deal of time before the rite of election. So there's time for real formation in the disciplines of Christian living.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think that's all. We have a community chat tomorrow. Yes, let me go pick it up. Community chat tomorrow. Where did it go? There it is. On all of these questions.
And more. We got a ton of questions. We probably won't have time for all of them.
Oh my gosh, really? But I put a link in the comments there where you can sign up. It's free. And we have, 300 or so already signed up. Yep.
And we're going to spend at least an hour. Oftentimes we sort of formally end at the end of an hour for folks who need to go do stuff. And then we say, but if anybody wants to stick around, we'll stick around longer. We wind up staying another 20 minutes, half hour. So, if you've got an hour to hour and a half that you want to come and either voice your own questions or to hear other people's questions and how to deal with some of these maybe not always so obvious issues during Lent and the RCIA, then join us on Wednesday.
Yes, tomorrow Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Everyone else figure it out. And so there. But always, if you have questions any time of the year and you're just stumped, send us an email, Diana@teamrcia.com or
Nick
at teamrcia.com. We really do love accompanying you on this journey, and there's no stupid question, really. I mean, I remember when I was starting out, I could not wrap my head around so many of these things that only after many years of reflecting on it and really studying and reading and rereading and discerning has it started to become clearer to me. So that's our mission here, is to accompany you in your ministry to our seekers. So.
Good. So,
well, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow. For a longer session of some of this same sort of question and answer.
February 10, community chat. It's free. Recording is for Team RCIA members only. So make sure you come, make sure you register, and if you can't be there, consider becoming a Team RCIA member and getting all the Team RCIA goodness directly to you whenever you like.
Okay, everyone. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Take care.
Thanks.
God bless.
Bye.